Welcome to Retrobot, the YouTube channel where we feed a friendly space robot a diet of pure nostalgia. I'm Clay, and today we are looking at the Transformers Generation Selects Micromasters War for Cybertron GS10 Soundwave Spy Patrol. Third unit. That's a long name. But here it is, and for a pack that has such a ridiculously long name, this is a relatively shallow box. And the reason why is because this is a box full of cassettes. Well, I shouldn't say cassettes. They are rectangles. So here, let's open this up. I have already had this open, but I always like to give you the full experience. So this is the Transformers Generation Selects packaging. There's not a whole lot to see on here. Some legal mumbo-jumbo on the side and nothing on the bottom. So you open up the flap, you see another Transformers War for Cybertron trilogy logo, and then you open it up and look at that. There's a picture of an audio cassette. Yeah, so they do remember what cassettes look like, and I'm gonna refer back to that. There's a reason why I am talking about how they have confirmed that they know what an audio cassette looks like. So you open the package, and here they are, and you can see that my camera's actually, my lighting rather, is actually kind of glaring off of this. Let me try and get it into focus and then maybe see if I can adjust the lighting here. There we go. Yeah, so that is that's pretty much in focus, and the light is just a little bit bright. Strangely enough, the light is kind of bright on Knok here. So these are 4 characters. Frenzy we all know and love. Frenzy is the seldom seen other cassette that in the Transformers Generation 1 cartoon was called Rumble. They had the names backwards. Frenzy in the TV show was the red one. Rumble was the blue one. But they seem to have kind of fixed that in later generations. So now Frenzy is the blue cassette and Rumble is the red cassette. And then we've also got WingThing, which that is a little bit of a deep cut that we will go into. And then this is Scar, and this is Knok. Now, if we open up this package, of course, we've got instructions, which we don't really need those, except they kind of help to know who is who if you're not familiar with the characters. And then we've got the obligatory little piece of paper that has warnings in lots of languages and stuff. So don't swallow these. I think that that's really what this piece of paper says in many, many languages is don't swallow these. So I'm going to pull these out, and I'm going to look at Frenzy first because we all know Frenzy. Notice that the colors are very nice. He has very nice blue. The detail that's molded in is also very nice. But I can drop him too. And that looks fine. But there is no paint detail whatsoever on this guy. You know, it's just blue and black, and that's it. So presumably as part of the War for Cybertron line, I'm assuming that this is supposed to be tied to Earthrise Soundwave. We don't really know for sure. I guess it could be Siege Soundwave, but he doesn't seem to have any battle damage deco on him. So I'm going to assume that this is supposed to be an audio cassette. And I do have Earthrise Soundwave here, and he does turn into a cassette player. So we can take Ravage out of here, and we can put Frenzy in there, and wow, look at that. That's great. The screws kind of make it look a little bit audio cassette-ish, but they're not really in the right place for an audio cassette. And this is something that I noticed with Ravage. They have wheels painted on here, which presumably are supposed to make this look more audio cassette like. But this is what an audio cassette looks like. Okay, that's where the wheels are. They're not quite dead center, but they're pretty close. These wheels wouldn't work. You would not have. You would have the tape spool up, and then you'd have a whole bunch of empty space up here. And I realize that I'm nitpicking, but the placement of the paint detail for the wheels keeps it from communicating the way that it's supposed to. And there's really no reason for it. They could have absolutely had the paint detail extend into the front legs and make this look better. And here, they could have put some paint detail on here. Now, in the Siege line, these rectangles are described as shields, and they have little plugs which fold out, and all of the Micromaster Soundwave rectangles, whatever you want to say the alt mode is, they do have a 5mm compatible plug that allows them to peg in to other spaces on Soundwave, and really any other figure. But here's my other criticism of this mold, and this is something that I noticed with Rumble as well. The peg is on this side, which means that the exposed surface is not this side, it's this side. And then there we go. It's, oh, hey Frenzy, how you doing? His face is just hanging out there. There's nothing to cover the face. And I honestly don't mind that when he transforms, the head is exposed. It's not that big of a deal. But here's what bugs me about it. The peg is on his back. If they had just put this peg on his stomach, had it fold out from the midsection here, then that would make this the back, and this is the part that would be in, and then you wouldn't see his face whenever he's attached to another figure. And that to me is kind of a significant design flaw. You know, because it really takes you out when the front face, presumably, since, you know, that's how this would be attached. There we go. The front face is a robot face. So there it is. But, you know, then they also wrote Vietnam and stuff like that. So it seems like they don't want you to see this side. The copyright information is here. The production information is here. So you're not supposed to be looking at this, but the way that he's designed, if he is not in Soundwave's chest, then there's really no way not to look at it. If he is attached to another figure, then you're staring at the seedy underbelly of the alt mode, where they're supposed to be hiding their sins, except in this case, it's in full display. So that's something that just bugs me, and it has bugged me since Rumble. We can transform him. His transform is pretty simple. You pull the legs out and twist them around. You flip out the fists, which have a little alignment peg here. And I think that those little pegs are probably compatible with Blast Effects pieces. And I don't really have them handy, so I'm not going to test that theory, but I imagine they probably are. And so there he is. His robot mode looks very good. He looks very much Gen 1 compatible, and you know, he looks like the character that he's supposed to represent. The paint detail on the chest is nicely done, even though it's kind of minimalist. The paint detail on the legs actually really pops. It's very, very nicely done. The red, the gold, the silver, that's far more than we've gotten on the rest of the figure. And so he does look really good. He doesn't have elbow articulation. He is, at this point, considered a mini-con. But that's really not, it doesn't really detract from the play worthiness. He has ball joints at his shoulders, he has ball joints at the knees, he has completely functional hip joints, so you can still get plenty of play value out of him. The only other thing is, I guess, what we could do, if we really wanted to fix that problem about the shield, is you could flip his head around. It's very tight, and I do like that the joints are tight. So if you wanted to solve that whole face problem that I was just complaining about, you could transform him this way. And now his face is back here, and now this becomes the seedy underbelly, where you kind of wish that all of the copyright and manufacturing information were printed. But this does actually look a little bit more like an audio cassette because of the details on the chest. It's a bit of a happy accident, but I'll take it. And we can put him into Soundwave, and we can put him in this way. And that is not so bad. That is actually not so bad. So my recommendation would be flip his head around, and then when we attach him, since you can only get one cassette into the door there, if you have to attach him and peg him on somewhere, then you can do it that way, and that's not so bad. And you can see that I've even got Laserbeak back here, and I've got Rumble over here, and he has the same problem. But once again, we can just do this. There we go. And now, as long as you don't mind reading about the Vietnamese manufacturing and the Tomy copyright, then he actually looks pretty decent. So yeah, that is Frenzy. I'm very happy to have Frenzy, because if you're gonna have Rumble, you kind of have to have Frenzy. In a post-Generation 1 world, it seems like the Transformers have paired these guys up pretty often. You rarely see one without the other. Now, one other thing that I've noticed about all the War for Cybertron Minicon rectangles, whether you want to call them shields or cassettes or whatever, is just an opportunity that I feel like they've missed. They all have this little peg, as we were just discussing. Ravage has a peg. Laserbeak has a peg. They all have a peg. If they had put a couple 5mm holes, a couple 5mm compatible holes even, on the back sides of the figures, then you would be able to stick these guys together. And you would be able to double them up, and you could stick weapons on them and do all sorts of neat things if they had just put another 5mm hole somewhere on this figure. And personally, being that I am an old Gen 1 fan and I want to see these guys as being cassettes, then I would love to see it right where the cassette holes would be. That's where they always were in the Gen 1 versions, and I think that's cool. But honestly, you wouldn't have to, because as I was noticing with this version of Laserbeak doesn't look like a cassette. It looks more like a printed circuit board. So maybe it's not supposed to be a cassette. And in that case, maybe a hole here or a hole there, or, somewhere else. But I feel like it's a bit of a missed opportunity not to have anything that you could peg stuff into with these guys, because they already attach, and I'm a big fan of having opportunities for additional play, even if it's not planned or put into the instructions. So that is Frenzy from the Soundwave Spy Patrol 3rd Unit, War for Cybertron, Micromaster, lots and lots of words. And he is a good little figure, despite some of the issues that happened because of the front-facing head and the manufacturing information that's printed in awkward places. Still, very nice figure. I like him. Let's take a look at some of these other guys. This next one that I'm going to talk about, this is WingThing. And this is a bit of a deep cut. I had never heard of WingThing, and I had to look it up to find out what the significance of WingThing is. WingThing was Soundwave's partner in the Gen 1 continuity. WingThing was the bat creature that turned into a weapon for Action Master Soundwave. Now, I never had Action Master Soundwave because I had original Soundwave, and there was really no advantage to getting Action Master Soundwave. He didn't have an opening chest door. He wasn't really compatible with the cassettes. There was nothing to be gained by getting that toy. It's sort of like getting the Action Master Devastator. The only reason why somebody might buy it is because they never got the original one, but honestly, a small Devastator, I don't understand the point. So this is a repaint of the Ratbat mold from the Transformers Siege line, and it's a nice little mold. We'll transform him into his bat likeness. There we go. And then we have some little feet here. Presumably, these little feet should allow him to rest on Soundwave's arm. I've never gotten that to work. I have Siege Soundwave here, and let's just take his gun out of his hand. Come on, Soundwave, you can do it. It's a tight fit. So he has his hand here, and then I guess, I don't know, this, oh wait, maybe it's there. I don't know. I've like I said, I've never really gotten this to work. So, yeah, somewhere on there, he's supposed to be able to fit. I don't know how that works. And so far, I'm not convinced that it really exists. But, so there he is. Also, the head is on a very, very tiny double hinge, so you can sort of grab the underside of the chin and pull the head forward and then pull it down like that. And that is WingThing. Once again, I'm just going to point out that if he is supposed to be a cassette, there is no deco back here that indicates it. He could have easily been printed with, you know, circles, some, you know, at least on Ravage, they did put some printing. They put the little gauge for how much tape is used, and I guess that's what these silver lines are. They put the 60-minute, they put the word Japan. So they did try to make him look like a cassette. He is a rectangle. He's not a bad looking rectangle, but there's really nothing that says he has to be a cassette. He he is just some kind of a rectangular shape, and then he turns into a bat shape. And he's a cool bat shape. You know, the Ratbat mold is a nice mold. I like that that you can move the wings around a little bit. I like the joints here. His feet don't really do a whole lot, and if he's going to sit, then, you know, good luck getting him to stand up on his own, unless you're going to maybe bend the wings down this way and do something like that so that he can kind of lean forward on his wings. So there is that ability. But nonetheless, that is WingThing. He is as his name indicates, he is a thing that has wings. So, and honestly, I kind of like that we now have another bat cassette for Soundwave's group. But then we get into the next two characters. And so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to pull out this one. This is Scar. Scar is another repaint of Ratbat. And I was a little bit surprised that they didn't instead repaint Laserbeak as Buzzsaw. We have not gotten a Buzzsaw yet. I don't know why, but it seems like for a long time, any Laserbeak was going to be repainted as Buzzsaw, who came with the original Soundwave toy, but so pretty much everybody who had Soundwave had Buzzsaw, even though he didn't make a lot of appearances in media. You didn't see him on the cartoon. He made some seldom appearances in the comic book, but this is Scar, and he is a little bit of a retool, actually. If you look, the face is distinctly different from WingThing's. So he's got a little bit more of a demon face, and I didn't remember where I had heard of Decepticon Scar, but he actually was the Powermaster partner to Double Dealer. And so here, let's turn him back into a rectangle. And now, technically speaking, they're selling him as part of the Soundwave Spy Patrol. It seems like he is pretty tight, but he does fit into Soundwave's chest compartment, but it is a snug fit. But I have Double Dealer here, and Double Dealer also has a chest compartment which you can put Scar inside of, and there he is. So it's called the Soundwave Spy Patrol, but it really seems like the intention was to partner Scar with Double Dealer. You notice that the paint deco on Double Dealer and the plastic that he was molded with matches Scar perfectly. So I feel like more than a partner for Soundwave, this is a partner for Double Dealer. Once again, and this is something that can't be fixed with the Transform, you have the head sticking out and the peg, the 5mm peg on the back, which means that his face is always going to be showing, which means that that his alt mode, which makes him look like something other than a folded up bat, is pretty much hidden if you attach him to any of the combat system ports on the outside of the figure. So you just kind of try to ignore it. It's not a big deal, but it is noteworthy that once again those pegs defy the intended purpose of the design. And then we have Decepticon Knok. Knok is also another character. He is the other Powermaster partner to Double Dealer. So he turns into a robot. The original Powermaster figure turned into a little Nebulon. If you follow the Gen 1 continuity, later they've kind of retroactively made these just mini-cons and little robots. But back when I was a kid, the Power Masters and Headmasters and Target Masters were all little organic aliens or humans. So Spike was a human. The other partners were from planet Nebulos, but they were people in robotic exosuits, which, really begs a lot of unsettling questions about what had to be done to their skeletons in order to make that work. Nonetheless, this is Decepticon Knok, and he is colored like the original Powermaster that he is based off of. And of course, because of the fact that he can fit inside of Soundwave, we will see that he can also fit inside of Double Dealer's chest the same way that Scar can. So we'll just transform him back into his rectangle mode, which maybe this rectangle is supposed to be an engine. It doesn't really look like an engine. This one actually looks a little bit more like a cassette, but it's some kind of a rectangle, and of course we can pop it in there. Ideally we can pop it in there. There we go. And so he just fits in like that. He fits in very nicely. I think that the chest door for Double Dealer is a little bit bigger than the chest door in Soundwave. So these mini-con guys fit in there a little bit more comfortably. Now, the downside is that it's not clear. You can't see them when they're in there. It doesn't do anything to enhance his appearance in any way. And I feel like that's also a missed opportunity. If you're going to put that feature in there, it would be nice if there was maybe a hole in there where you could see that there was something in there, or it was cast in a translucent plastic so that you could see in there. And there's no spring action, which I don't really expect there to be. But you look at Soundwave, and this is just such a great play feature. It's clicky, it's clear, it's spring-loaded. This is just so tremendously satisfying in terms of seeing what you can do with these figures. And I'm just trying to get them into focus. But that is really what a chest door that is really what a chest door should be. It is awesome. And then we put Laserbeak in here, and I showed this for my Soundwave unboxing, that you open that and it flips them out. I don't think that that's intentional, but it's really reliable. So that's pretty cool. So we now finally have Frenzy for Soundwave, and we have reunited Soundwave with his long-lost partner, WingThing, which I'm sure makes him very happy. Overall, I will say that this set is a pretty cool little set. It's not the end-all. Like, if you can live without having Frenzy, then you can probably live without having the rest of them. But it was a $20 set, and now it's probably a little bit harder to get, just because it seems like a lot of the places are sold out of them. Nonetheless, not a bad value for 4 mini-cons, considering that you normally pay $10 for 2, so they're not gouging the price any more than they already gouge prices. The fact that it does kind of complete Double Dealer here is nice. I remember when I got this, thinking it's kind of a shame that he doesn't have a couple mini-con partners, because I knew that the original had the bat and had the little dude. And honestly, I'd forgotten what their names were until I got this set, and it's like, okay, who's Knok and who's Scar? But now I know who Knok and Scar is, and so now Double Dealer is complete, and Soundwave and his minions are complete. And if you want to have Knok and Scar say, hey, you know what, Double Dealer, you're a loser, we would rather hang with Soundwave because he's cooler, then I mean, honestly, Soundwave is cooler than Double Dealer. He just is. We all know it. So that's it. I hope that you like this review and unboxing of Transformers Generation Selects Micromaster War for Cybertron GS10 Soundwave Spy Patrol 3rd Unit. Wow, the names. This is Clay Carlino telling you to keep it Retrobot. Retrobot. Says it right there on his face. Retrobot.